So John was born with a congenital limb difference at birth, and since then we have had to do lots of things to get ready for a prosthetic, which we decided to do when he was 10 months old. So at 10 months old, they put in rods and screws in his arm, and we had to lengthen his arm 4 times a day, and it took a process of 3 months to lengthen his arm. And then once we lengthened his arm, which those rods and screws were in his arm day and night, like they were surgically put in there, and then they had to be surgically taken out. And it did grow. Well, since then, we've had to go yearly to his doctor in Beechwood, Dr. Seitz. He's world-renowned, he's amazing. He did the surgery, and then we have to see him once a year to do the x-ray. And they make sure that his arm is growing properly, so then he would be able to have a strong enough arm to wear a prosthetic. So when I say that this has been a 10-year process, this has been a 10-year process. And now at the age of 10, he is, his weight and his height, he's able to have an adult prosthetic arm. So that is what insurance was waiting for. And since then, we've done like children arms, which just to get his arm used to having something there. And they kind of look like baby doll arms, and they were very cumbersome, and he didn't like them. But we did the process, and we did everything that they told us to do, so we would be able to be on the journey that now we've started as of Friday. It was a long decision, but we decided as a family, we all got together and we said, listen, we want to give him the best opportunities that we can in life. And if we did not do the arm lengthening, he would not be able to wear a prosthetic because his arm was so short. So we decided as a family, we said, we're going to put him through the surgery. The doctors kept reminding us that he will not remember this, and thank goodness he doesn't. But if we wouldn't have done the surgery, he wouldn't be able to even have the prosthetic that he has today. And prosthetics in the future, because it was so short how he was born. So we just thought, let's give him the opportunities. If he doesn't want to wear one, he doesn't have to. But at least his arm will be long enough so he can have that opportunity if he wants it. So his actual prosthetic doctor has a similar arm. He has an elbow. So John's is a little bit different because John doesn't have an elbow. And that makes it a little different and more difficult because that is a heavier piece to be on there. But yes, we walked in, and it's so funny. Nobody told us that. We just walked in and we saw it. And John was just taken back by it because he said, oh my goodness, like this guy really gets it. Because let's be honest, none of us get it. And you know, we back him and we support him, but none of us truly get it. And for him to have that opportunity to have a doctor that has the exact or similar situation that he has, I couldn't have asked for a better doctor. And they said that they don't tell people because they do want you to walk in just having the same reaction that we had, like, oh my goodness. And we kept saying, look, John, and John's like, yeah, I see it. You know, but it's exciting. It was very exciting. And that doctor actually has offered to work with our OT in our school, who has worked with John already, and work with learning how to use this prosthetic because it is a whole new thing for John. So yes, he's overcome so many obstacles, but now this is another obstacle that he has to overcome because he hasn't had anything there. So to have something there is now a new obstacle. But he is willing to take it on.
I was feeling so stoked and excited because I knew that it would help me in a bunch of different ways. So it's gonna change me in my life by helping me hold stuff. It's gonna help me just carry stuff. It's gonna help me just having stuff on the other side so I can have it balanced. It's gonna help me build up muscle. It's gonna help me with a lot more things.
So I want to go all the way back to day one when he was born. His doctor obviously delivered him and handed him to me, and he looked at me in the eyes and he said, Don't ever tell him he can't. And from those moments up until, forever, there's nothing he can't do. I mean, he might do it differently, but there's nothing that he can't do. And that was like the best advice he ever gave me. Like, just instill in him that he can. And I mean, it's the same thing I instill in my students every single day, but you can. You might do it different, but you can. And I think that's just what we've taught him. Just try it, do it. If you fail, just pick it up and do it again. But some of his successes are not just from me personally, but from our whole entire family, from everybody that works here. Our OTs have been phenomenal. We've worked with several OTs and they've just been phenomenal.
So when getting a prosthetic, you have to have that determination. It's completely different now. John's been so adaptable using his left arm for everything and using his right limb. Now he needs to retrain his body and his brain to have two hands and to use both sides of his body equally. And you have to have that strong will to get there. John's an awesome kid. So when I first started working with him, he was a superstar already. His mom and John both had some concerns about accessing the school with the one arm and the limb difference, but he has really mastered everything that he's put, every obstacle that he's been faced with, and he's so adaptable. He's really an awesome kiddo, and he's so determined. He wants to just do everything, just like every other child, and he's really just so determined. And I just can't say that enough, because he really has just overcome so much in his life, and he's just gonna keep being a rock star.
Tying his shoes, that was always a thought in my brain, like, how is he gonna be able to do this? I know he can, but how? And his OTs taught him how to tie his shoes. And I mean, that video, they videoed it and we just watched it over and over again. Like, that's amazing to me. Some kids still struggle to this day with two hands. And to be able to do it with one is just amazing. Zipping his coat, not using his teeth. He uses his teeth for a lot, and we were like, we don't want that to be an issue either. But he did it and found a way. Opening things like water bottles. I mean, opening a water bottle, some of those, I'm sure everyone can agree, they're really hard to open sometimes. Those, not using your teeth, how is he gonna do that? But has overcome all of that as well. He does play sports. His favorite sport is soccer, but he has played basketball. He's not currently on a team for basketball, but he's played in the past. And he also plays for the Elyria Little League. He plays baseball for them. And he also pitches, he plays first base, he could play anywhere, but those are his favorite. And he bats, no problem. So it's crazy to see him up there and swinging a bat and, hitting it far. And I'm usually the one that you hear on the sidelines, they're so excited because he does an amazing job. I feel amazing for our family in general. I feel amazing for my students in class. What this has done for so many people is it's shared differences. And they see differences every single day of their life, but not necessarily like this. And I think that John Kelly has impacted every single student in Elyria City Schools, and I truly believe that. And so many kids come through and they're like, oh yeah, I know John. And they just say the things that he can do. Nobody ever says the things that he can't do, because truly, there's nothing that he won't try. So, he might mess up or he might not do it so good, but he'll keep going until he gets there. And I think that is the biggest lesson that can be taught by any child, is just to keep trying and never give up. Everybody he comes in contact with is amazed by him. And I couldn't be more proud to be his mom.
So my mom has been great. She's never said I can't do anything. She's never said that I couldn't do this, couldn't do that, you couldn't do that, you couldn't do that, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. She's never let me down. She's always been there for me. And yeah, she's been amazing.